Good evening. This meeting for the Planning Commission for the City of East Ridge will now come to order for July the 7th, 25. That was July 7th, 2025. The microphone went for a minute. If I can get a roll call, please.
Chairperson Tuggle,
Here.
Vice Chairperson Howe,
Here.
Commission Member Cornelius,
Here.
Commission Member Williams, Commission Member Witt.
Here.
Thank you. And I trust you had the moment to review the minutes from the June 2nd, 2025 meeting. And
Motion to approve. Second.
thank you. I have a motion and a second. And a roll call, please.
Vice Chairperson Howe,
Yes.
Commission Member Cornelius,
Abstain.
Commission Member Witt,
Yes.
Chairperson Tuggle.
Yes. Okay, there's not any old business. The communication and comments by the public will do before each one of these two items, since there's only two items. So moving into the new business, we'll first hear from City Representative Mr. Howell, and then get communication from the public on 6A. So beginning with 6A, consider the request of Wayne Williams, Workshop Architects, to have the property located at 1171 South Seminole Drive, tax map ID 168CF026, rezoned from R1 Residential District to RZ1 0 Lot Line Residential District. Mr. Howell.
Yes, good evening, members of the Planning Commission. So the existing land use is single-family residential to the north, single-family residential to the east, residential and institutional to the west, and institutional to the south. I do believe RPA classified institutional as church in that. I don't know why they defined it as institutional, but there are two churches there. The current zoning from R1, as you know, is minimum lot size or 10,000 square feet. Lot frontage is 75 square feet with setbacks 25 front and rear and 10 on the sides. The adjacent density to the R1 is 3 dwelling units per acre. Now the proposal for the RZ1, the minimum lot size is 2,625 square feet with lot frontage of 35 feet. Setbacks are for the front and rear are 25, or you can do a 0 lot line or a 10 side yard or 10 on each side. Proposed density would be 6.45 dwelling units per acre. Side area is 0.31 acres or roughly 13,503 square feet. Compatibility challenge are as follows. Land use compatibility. While both R1 and RZ1 allow single family homes, the 0 lot line format introduces significantly smaller lots and frontage, challenging the established neighborhood pattern. Zoning precedent. There are no existing RZ1 zones nearby. Approving this rezone could set a precedent for future small lot development in traditional large lot areas, potentially leading to a broader rezoning pressures. Spot zoning concerns. Rezoning a single lot in the middle of a residential block for high density residential use is spot zoning, which is generally discouraged unless supported by a broader planning strategy or public benefit. Currently, all RZ10 lot lines parcels identified within the city of East Ridge are adjacent to other high-density residential districts, commercial districts, manufacturing and/or office districts. This is creating a transitional buffer. This rezoning promotes general residential infill and enhances housing availability, while proposed use aligns with a single-family designation. It does not match the scale or form, however. Additionally, this site is not close to similarly zoned RZ1 properties, and its approval could disrupt established development patterns. It is essential and carefully to consider neighborhood compatibility and the potential precedent-setting impacts on this.
Thank you. So the opinion of the staff is essentially that RZ1 would be a density buffer between a commercial corridor and a residential, and not mixed in with the R1.
That is correct. Both Planning Commission, City Council, when these have come before both bodies, has set that precedent where it's done as a transitional zoning and not a spot zoning within an R1 district.
I remember that being the intent because I was on the commission when we created that, but I couldn't remember exactly what it said. It's been a few years. So, any other questions from the commission?
I have questions for the applicant.
Okay, we'll have questions for the applicant. First, if there's any comments from the public, now would be the time. If you want to make your voice heard, if you can come up to the lectern and give your name and address. Hello.
Good afternoon. I'm Shane Lichterman. Wayne Williams is on his way here. He's stuck in traffic, and he's going to be I just texted him. He's like, I'm on my way. So I just wanted to stand in and tell you guys that.
Okay.
Okay.
Then we'll talk real slowly for the next few seconds. I'm sorry. That's all right. We actually could have moved that, we could have moved the agenda item, but we didn't realize that he didn't have a representative here. So that's all right.
Traffic is unpredictable.
It is.
Right
I've
now.
never been late to one of these meetings. If we want to be super courteous, we could go ahead and talk about 6B and then vote on 6A here in a moment. Anybody has any issues with that? Okay. Then, in the interest of hearing from him, I know the commission had a question for the applicant, so let's continue on to 6B.
Okay.
And then we'll vote on 6A here in a moment. So 6B in new business is to consider the request of Aline DeFiglia to have the property located at 842 South Germantown Road, tax map ID number 168DH006, rezoned from R1 Residential District to C2 General Commercial District. Mr. Howell.
Yes, so once again, this site is surrounded by a mix of uses, including single-family residential, office, and commercial. The development form along Ringo Road is suburban commercial with 1- and 2-story commercial buildings and paved parking lots. The form transitioned to suburban residential along South Germantown Road with 1- and 2-story single-family dwellings on individual lots with individual driveways. The adjacent parcel, 841 South Germantown Road, was rezoned in 2008 from C2 and R1 to O1 Office District with specific conditions within Ordinance 841. This site has not been seen any recent changes in zoning. However, it has been used for commercial operations approved by the City Council through use on reviews. These operations have included TLC, which is Talk, Listen, Communicate, a Montessori school, and most recently approval of the use of a medical clinic for Mistopheles practice. Compatibility challenges are as follows. Prior commercial use recognition, the established functionality, the subject property has historically functioned as an office and has received 2 prior City Council approvals as use on reviews for commercial activity. The applicant is not seeking a change in the building or intensity of use, but is looking to formalize an existing long-standing commercial presence. The request could be viewed as a corrective zoning to align zoning with the actual legal allowed use. Number 2 is zoning transition. To the west, south, there are existing office and commercial uses, including a 2008 rezoning of the adjacent property at 841 South Germantown Road to O1 Office District. The parcel south of the site is split zone C2 and R1, and if this zone is fully rezoned in the future, it would place C2 zoning adjacent to this parcel, enhancing compatibility. Land use flexibility, the stretch of Germantown Road near Ringo Road transitions into a mixed-use corridor, blending residential and office commercial functions. Formalizing this commercial use via rezoning may better reflect the current emerging development pattern. The use office is low intensity, generates minimal traffic, and has no nuisance issues. As outlined in the RPA staff report, rezoning to O1 Office District could provide the necessary legal framework for the existing office use while maintaining a suitable buffer between commercial and residential areas. The broader C2 designation allows for commercial activities that could potentially harm the character and safety of the surrounding neighborhood. However, conditions can be placed on the rezoning to allow office use within the C2 zone and buffer requirements. So this one was kind of very, not playing the devil's advocate, but it was almost, RPA looked at it as the rezoning would be better suited as O2 Office District, creating that transitional buffer. But as you see to the south, there's a parcel there that's split zone, C2 and R1. Always been used as commercial, so if it ever does, get rezoned, and more than likely in the future it will, basically adjoin a C2 district at that point.
Yes, I see both of those neighboring properties are split zones and should be C2.
It should be C2, that's correct. And that's the same with the across the street there at 841 South Germantown. Prior to its rezoning, it was split zoned R1 and C2 as well. And prior to that, I look back at the old records of the city of East Ridge prior to us adopting the 1989 ordinance, and both of these lots were zoned local business and urban residential, so they've been like this for years.
And I think the only one that's changed that's edged into that split zone is what was Davis Construction's office that we rezoned not that long ago, like 5 or 6 years ago. Any other questions from the commission?
Does the facade grant from the city of East Ridge require commercial zoning?
Yes, it does. And in this case, if it was rezoned, she could use or apply for a facade.
All right, any feedback from the public for item 6B pertaining to 842 South Germantown Road? Okay, not seeing a rush of commentators, I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve from Commission Member Witt and a second from Vice Chairperson Howe. Ms. Dietrich, roll call, please.
Vice Chairperson Howe,
Yes.
Commission Member Cornelius,
Yes.
Commission Member Witt,
Yes.
Chairperson Tuggle.
Yes. All right, returning in new business to item 6A, and I know the commission had a question for the applicant, so if we could have the applicant approach the lectern and provide his name and address, please.
I need to sign in.
No, just give your name and address so for the recording.
My name is Wayne Williams. I'm Workshop Architecture. I'm presenting this rezone on behalf of Bryce Goldson. The lot is on South Seminole Drive. It's an existing R1 lot. My client, so the structure that's there now is what, if this were a historic district, we would refer to as a non-contributing structure. I understand there have been some nuisance complaints, and even the city has used the nuisance ordinance on this property prior to it being purchased by my client. They want to improve the property, and in order to make the necessary improvements and justify those expenses, they want to, of course, maximize their return. By changing this to RZ1, we're able to put 2 single-family cottages on the property, which will be new construction.
Okay, thank you.
Did you say your address for the recorder? Sorry.
The address of my business,
It's fine.
Okay. Sorry. Just making sure.
He did not, and I was going to say it,
Yeah.
but go ahead.
Okay.
1420 Macaulay Avenue, Chattanooga.
Sorry. Thank you. I have 2 questions. So the existing structure would be torn down,
Correct.
okay? And when I look at the plans, it looks like one of the driveways would be off of South Seminole. Is that correct?
And one off of Bennett, yes.
And one off of Bennett. So you'd turn right onto Bennett and right into the driveway.
Correct.
Okay.
What's the permitted density for R1? Is it 3?
Hmm.
And this is 6-ish?
6.45, yeah, somewhere on there. Mhm.
Any other questions for the applicant or the commission? Or, I'm sorry, for the city?
Right now, there's only a driveway off of the Bennett.
Only off of Bennett currently.
Okay. South Seminole's so heavily traveled.
I think.
That's subject to its own entrance permitting. That's not something we have to address here, is
So
it?
true.
Yes. Ours is more about suitability for the area.
Yeah, if the property was surrounded by other, high intense uses, it would be a good fit. Like I said, historically, the city of East Ridge has maintained the RZ1 district alongside, commercial, manufacturing and office, or R3 high density residential as well. This would, if approved, would be the first spot zoning from the RZ1 within the dedicated low density R1 district.
Any other
We-
questions?
Just if I could respond, we chose RZ1 deliberately to avoid any attached housing.
Mhm.
We felt this would be more in character with the neighborhood.
Okay, any other questions? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion to approve from Vice Chairperson Howe and a second from Commission Member Cornelius. Will you go roll call, please, Ms. Dietrich?
Vice Chairperson Howe,
Yes.
Commission Member Cornelius,
Yes.
Commission Member Witt,
No.
Chairperson Tuggle.
No. So how does that work?
has to go to council.
It'll have to go to council. Okay, so there's no affirming decision from the planning commission. It'll just proceed to council for their vote.
That's
Is that
correct.
right? Okay, thank you. Since one of our commission members is out, we haven't had a split vote in my 8 or 10 years or whatever I've been doing this. So sorry, that was a first for me. I apologize for the confusion. So he'll explain to you the rest of the procedure.
Sure, I do have a procedural question.
Sure.
If we defer and come back in a month when everybody's present, I mean,
I
maybe,
think-
maybe that's a thing to discuss offline.
Yes, and I think the city could probably give you a good idea about how that would go. So it'd be a good idea to speak with Mr. Howell.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, absolutely. All right, and there being no further new business, this meeting is adjourned.